On the sun-scorched grasslands, beneath a blazing sky, life moves without pause. Every creature must stay alert, keep moving, and fight to make it through each day. Zebras face a constant battle against merciless hunters. As the first rays of sunlight reach the African ground, the darkness fades into the distance. A thin mist floats above the parched grass. The whole plain transforms into a golden stage beneath the rising sun. Against this scene, black and white stripes begin to shift. A herd of zebras grazes calmly, without concern. The thudding of hooves on earth echoes nearby. The soft calls of young ones searching for their mothers mix with the breeze flowing through the bushes. All of it forms a peaceful melody of life. Yet, underneath, another rhythm beats. It is slower, quieter, and far more lethal. Not far away, golden eyes lock onto the herd's path. A few lionesses lie hidden in the tall grass. No movement, only harsh breaths, tight muscles, and a gaze fixed on one goal, a young zebra that has wandered from the group to feed alone. In that instant, there is no sign, no sound. The lions burst forward with force. The herd flees, kicking dust into the air. The young zebra glances back, but it's already too late. A leap, a snap. Within seconds, its voice is lost in the dry grass. The young zebra has become the lion's prey. Lions, Panthera leo, are not only skilled hunters but also the only cats with a well-defined social system. They live in prides, a survival unit made up of several males, numerous females, and young cubs. This structure forms the core of the lion's strength. It isn't always the strongest that endures. For lions, unity is their weapon. Within the pride, females are the foundation. They lead the hunts, care for the cubs, and guard the future of the pride. Most females in a pride are sisters who spend their lives together, giving birth, raising their young, and facing threats as one. A lioness typically gives birth to 1 to 4 cubs after around 110 days of pregnancy. These cubs are born blind, weak, and fully reliant on their mother. During the first 3 months, they must stay hidden in dense cover to avoid predators including other lions or unrelated males. Male lions, though they rarely hunt, play a key role in defending the pride's territory. A fully grown male can weigh up to 190 kilograms and has a thick mane that protects his neck in fierce battles. These males often fight rivals to maintain control in brutal encounters that may even end in death. Nothing is left to chance in a lion's life. Every move, every roar, every stare is shaped by evolution to help them survive. If it means just one more day in the African wild, when the dust clears, the zebras have scattered, regrouping tightly in a defensive instinct. Zebras, Equus, Quagga, represent motion across the plains of Africa. In a land where each step is a battle for survival, they have no claws, no sharp teeth, and no way to climb or hide. Yet their simplicity is their strength, making them one of the savanna's most successful animals. Each zebra has a unique pattern of stripes, no two the same. These stripes serve not just as camouflage, but also as natural ID codes that help mothers locate their young amid chaos and keep the group together through dense brush, across rivers, or in moments of panic. When fleeing lions, their stripes create a moving blur, confusing predators and making it nearly impossible to single out one target. This optical illusion has been perfected over millions of years of being hunted. Along with their stripes, zebras have large eyes on the sides of their heads, giving them an almost 360-degree field of vision. This is a major advantage in a world where danger can strike from any direction. Zebras have ears that rotate independently, allowing them to detect distant sounds while constantly monitoring their environment. Though their brains are not large, they have a remarkable memory for landscapes, enabling them to recall migration paths, the locations of water sources, and places where lions or crocodiles often lie in wait. This means they not only run fast, but also in the right direction, a critical skill that often determines survival. Their reproduction is also shaped by the demands of life on the savanna. After nearly 13 months of pregnancy, the mother selects a quiet, hidden spot to give birth. The foal is born with open eyes, and within minutes it must stand not as a lesson, but as a necessity. Falling behind is not an option in a land with no mercy for the weak. The scent of the mother is the first memory it forms, followed closely by her voice, forging a fast bond since time is a luxury they don't have. Zebra instincts are hardwired into their very being. Run with the group, avoid unfamiliar sounds. Despite their gentle nature, they're not without defenses. A strong kick from an adult zebra can break a lion's jaw, and when danger nears, they may turn back to shield their young or form a protective ring, a living barrier between threat and survival. They lack fierce strength and can't match the speed of predators, yet their unity, constant awareness, and unwavering will to move forward have made them one of the most resilient species on the plains. In a world where a single bite can end everything, persistence is the greatest form of triumph. As the rainy season begins in the north, the breeze carries the smell of fresh grass, and thunder rumbles like a distant call from the skies. On the parched grasslands, countless zebras begin their journey, leaving behind the dry earth and following an instinct carved by ages seeking water, green pastures, and the chance to live. But the greatest challenge still lies ahead: the Mara River. This wide, powerful river has fast currents, steep muddy banks, and sharp, hidden rocks. During the rainy season, its red, swirling waters seem determined to wash away all signs of life. In the dry season, the surface turns deceptively calm, but that stillness conceals deadly threats. Crossing the Mara is not just a part of migration, it is a brutal trial, and not every zebra will survive it. At the riverbank, a herd of zebras halts. Some cautiously test the water with their hooves, their ears constantly flicking in alertness. Nothing appears unusual. The surface is smooth, like glass, mirroring the sky and the bright sun above. But this silence doesn't mean safety, it means something is lurking. Beneath the calm, dark shapes drift slowly, nearly invisible. Their eyes barely break the surface, unmoving yet intensely aware. As the first zebras begin to swim, the water remains still. The herd follows. The splash of hooves striking the water sends ripples across the river and triggers the hunger that has been patiently waiting since dawn. A few zebras manage to reach the far bank, and tension begins to fade till one zebra near the rear suddenly stops. It lifts its head, then takes one more step. In that instant, the water erupts. The massive jaws of a Nile crocodile shoot upward from the depths, locking onto the zebra's belly and yanking it below with terrifying force. A sharp, piercing cry echoed through the air, then vanished beneath the red waters. Foam splashed in every direction before the zebra's body was pulled under, disappearing into the depths of the raging Mara River. Just minutes later, the surface returned to calm, as if nothing had happened, as if that life had never existed. That was the work of a Nile crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus, one of the largest and oldest reptiles on Earth. They can grow over 5 meters long and weigh up to 700 pounds. But their true terror doesn't lie in their size, it lies in how they wait. They don't chase, they have no need for speed. Instead, they remain perfectly still for hours, even days, with only their eyes, ears, and nostrils poking above the surface like 3 quiet markers, silently watching. When potential prey enters the water, they don't strike immediately. They wait, they choose, and once a target is chosen, there is no escape. The bite of the Nile crocodile is the most powerful. In the animal kingdom, over 2,000 pounds per square inch, but it's not the bite that kills, it's the strategy. They drag victims beneath the surface, spinning violently to shatter bones and tear soft flesh. A small whirlpool breaking the water's surface is the only sign of a death that was carefully planned. On the long journey of life, some are always lost not because they are weak or unlucky, but because, in this harsh land, even falling a single step behind is too much. And so, the herd moves on one fewer than before, but it does not stop. Because in the vast and unforgiving grasslands, it is not the strongest who survive, it is those who keep moving forward without ever looking back. On the far side of the river, the land transforms. Gone is the dry red dust and sun-scorched grass, replaced by a lush, green carpet stretching toward the horizon. Young blades of grass glisten with dew, clear pools reflect the sky, and the breeze carries cool moisture from the north. It feels like a hard-earned reward for those who made it through. The zebra herd slowly begins to regroup. The leading animals scan the landscape from higher ground, while the females lower their heads to graze in quiet relief. The tension lifts, and life begins to move with a calmer rhythm. Then, on a mist-covered morning, a female quietly steps away from the group and enters the dense thicket, where sunlight trickles through the tall grass. She lies down on her side, breathing heavily, her body taut with effort. The moment has arrived soon. Pressed against the damp soil, a newborn zebra enters the world. Its body is small, its fur still wet, and its legs shake with uncertainty. But instinct pushes it to act. Its front legs stretch forward, then its hind legs, and finally, with a great effort, it rises. These first steps require no teaching. There is no time to learn. The mother lowers her head and gently licks the foal's neck, beginning the bond that will guide it through the trials ahead. Her tongue brushed gently against the foal's first stripe. The unique scent of her newborn was instantly and permanently etched into her memory. In just a few short minutes, a bond was formed, one so strong it could not be broken. A new life had begun, only days after another was lost on the far side. Off the river, it is the familiar, unforgiving, yet beautiful rhythm of the African savanna. Here, blood and milk, death and birth, always exist side by side, two inseparable halves of the same truth. No one is promised survival, but every creature is given the chance to begin. By midday, the sun stood high overhead, pouring down heat onto the golden plains. The shimmering air rippled across the horizon, and the earth seemed to smoke under the pressure. The zebra herd scattered to rest, some taking shelter in the sparse shade of scattered trees. The young foals, now stronger, showed changes in their coats, their stripes growing sharper with each day. One had started to graze on its own and could now run alongside its mother, though not yet fast enough to outrun danger. In the distance, a group of cheetahs lay low in the tall grass, nearly invisible as they blended into the terrain. Their eyes locked onto a target, the young zebra and its mother. Cliffers, the fastest hunters on earth, do not always succeed, but once they choose a target, they commit fully. In an instant, they launched, their claws ripped through the grass. The air whistled with their speed. The mother and her foal froze, then fled. The foal stumbled close to its mother's legs, clinging to her for safety as they ran for their lives. The herd of zebras stood ahead, but the cheetahs failed to succeed. The mother zebra had stayed close to her foal, fiercely defending it as the predators tried to strike. Each time they lunged, she fought them off, her body shielding her young. The entire group of cheetahs came to a halt, none daring to get too close. Though they are swift and agile hunters, cheetahs are not built for head-on conflictists. When facing a mother driven by instinct and love, eventually, panting and empty-handed, the cheetahs withdrew quietly into the grass, defeated but unharmed. The mother zebra stood tall beneath the glaring sun, her back coated with dust, sweat rising from her body and vanishing into the heat, but her eyes remained alert, scanning the horizon with unwavering focus. Beneath her, the young zebra pressed tightly against her legs, trembling with fear, struggling for breath, but alive. On these plains, every day is a battle, and there is no room for hesitation. There is no second chance for those who fall behind. But today, the outcome was different, not because of speed, not because of brute strength, but because of a well-placed kick and the unyielding love of a mother who refused to give up.